So the purpose of this class today is to help equip us to better spot spam, also to avoid scams in our inboxes and our phone calls, and also in internet advertisements. So first up, let's define spam. So spam is unsolicited, unwanted digital communication. So this can be either a text, an email, an internet ad, a recorded phone call, internet comments. Spam is really everywhere. Cisco Talos reported in 2018 that about 85% of daily emails are spam. They also reported that 98% of spam advertises products and services, while 2% can cause real problems like phishing, malware, money scams. Spammers are ready to prey on people in vulnerable situations to manipulate them into giving over login information, bank information, download viruses. The list really goes on, especially in times of uncertainty. Like right now, we're experiencing a pandemic. Also in times of losing a loved one, financial struggles, spammers are more likely to strike. So how do spammers get your information? So it's not like we sign up for Spammers R Us or something we want to receive all of these super inappropriate emails. But spammers get your information in a few different ways. Could be through entering your information in online surveys or contests, could be in social media posts, just a spammer guessing your information, or sometimes your information gets sold to them by companies who do have your information that you trusted them with. So to prevent some of these, it's a best practice to avoid entering your personal information into contests online or surveys. Make sure your social media privacy settings are set to friends only or private. And you can do this through the settings or privacy settings on your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, so on. It's really best just to, stranger danger, internet stranger danger. There are also settings on some phones and email accounts to automatically filter out communication from people you are not familiar with, which you can find in your phone settings menu, probably under privacy, and or in your email. You can mark unwanted senders as junk or move to junk. All right, so how do you tell if something is spam? We're gonna look at phone calls first. So there's absolutely no harm in letting a call go to voicemail. I don't know about all of you, but I probably get about 10 phone calls a day from people I don't know, scammers I don't know. You're not obligated to pick up a phone call if you don't recognize the number. There's absolutely no harm in letting a phone call go to voicemail. And if it is someone you know, they can leave you a message. You can call them back right away, no problem. If the phone number is similar to yours, same area code, same first 3 digits, it is most likely a spam call. If the phone number is from a place you don't live near or frequent, it is probably a spam call. For example, if you're getting a lot of calls from DC out here, probably a spam call. If the voice on the line is a recording, it is also most likely spam. So any person or company that needs to have a personal conversation with you will not call with a recorded message. The exception here may be a company like Walgreens letting you know your prescription is ready to pick up, but you don't have to talk to them. So in recorded calls from an unknown source, it is best to hang up right away. Avoid saying anything to a recorded line, but especially the word yes. A recording of your voice saying yes could be used for fraud. So if there is a recorded line, it is best to just don't say anything, just hang up. In addition to a recorded message, a spam call may seem urgent. It may be a call from someone posing as the IRS saying you're under arrest. It might be someone telling you your vehicle's warranty is up and you need to renew it immediately. It may be someone saying there's fraud on your credit card and you need to call them right away. It also may be you've just won. So in all of these cases, the spammer is trying to get you back, to call them back in an emotional state. And I mean, when you call them in an emotional state, you're more likely to give them your information without really stopping to think through this. So maybe credit card information, social security information. If someone's posing as the IRS and they're convincing, you might be likely to hand over any of that sort of information. Great. So how do we tell if something is spam for emails? A good way, good litmus test here, if they refer to you by your real name, it's probably just a company advertising you. If they call you something like friend or valued customer, it's probably a spam. Next step is to look at the subject line. If it includes something straightforward like sale this weekend, it's probably okay to look further. But if the subject line is something like the example I have on there where it's lowercase, uppercase, underscores, it has numbers in it, or it has emojis, it is most likely spam. It's also good to look at their email address. If it's something straightforward like customer service at thecompany.com, that is probably legitimate. But if it's something like a random assortment of numbers and letters, it is most likely spam. The less straightforward the email address, the more likely it is to be spam. Also, the sense of urgency that we talked about with the phone calls also applies here. So if they're saying like, now, click here now, and that same sense of urgency is to coerce you into reacting immediately and giving over your information without taking time to really think through it. The other thing too, if this email is targeted towards people in vulnerable situations like the IRS, Section 8 housing, food stamps, and recently face masks, people who need help may try to take up a spam email on their offer for help without really thinking through it, which is pretty unfortunate. How do we tell if something is spam? Online sales or Craigslist? If the deal is too good to be true, it probably is. So, for example, if you're on Craigslist, you see a 4-bedroom house in downtown Denver is renting for $600 a month, it's probably a scam. If they're asking you for payment before you meet with them, it is probably a scam. So before you send any money, go meet the person, go meet them face to face, possibly at a different location. Police stations do offer safe online transaction pickup zones. You can also meet in other busy public places. Make sure you see the item before you give them any money. If you must meet them at the location, like for a roommate advertisement, it's okay to bring someone with you. Make sure you check out the item or the place, the location, etc., before you give them any money. If they demand a quote-unquote deposit before you even see the advertised item or meet them, it is probably a scam. Online ads are first come, first served basis. There is no need to send someone money to hold something for you. Your best option, instead of sending money, is to jump on the opportunity by responding quickly. If the person online also is demanding money via a third-party company you've never heard of, it could also be a scam. So PayPal, Venmo, those are typically safe companies, but feel free to research the company beforehand to make sure they are legitimate. It is always best to avoid Western Union. It is not a safe third-party payment platform. Final point here, if the seller all of a sudden is asking for a higher amount than they had previously listed, it is probably a scam. Great. So since emails are some of the hardest to decipher, we'll spend the rest of our time going through clues that may tip us off to a spammer in our email inbox. I took all of these examples from my email inbox. They're real email spammers send. So here are some examples. So first one here. The first thing that stands out is that this email is for Section 8 housing and is targeting people in vulnerable situations, so we should proceed with caution. The second is that the email address isn't addressed to my name, it addresses customer. This email is also pretty bare. There's no aesthetic effort put into this at all. There's no organization's name. If you look at the email address too, up at the top, it does have symbols in the name for the email. And it lists the email as new reply, so NOO reply. That's also a pretty good indication that that's a spam email with that misspelling in there. Great. Next example. This email is addressed to subscriber. That's not my name. My name's not subscriber. And friend. They also address me as friend. So they don't, I mean, it's obvious that this company doesn't know me. This email also says that I have a subscription that I need to confirm, but who exactly am I subscribed to? There's no company name. There's no information about who this email is from. In fact, the name of the sender is Just Confirm, and the email address is a random assortment of numbers and letters. So with that name, Just Confirm, they are trying to they're trying to up the ante a little bit. They want you to go ahead and unsubscribe. You're annoyed. You're getting a lot of these emails. You don't want to get any more of them. You're going to click that unsubscribe. But that's a good way to get you to go ahead and click. Great. Third example, in this email, again, I'm subscribed to something, but there is no indication of what company or organization I'm subscribed to. So their goal here is for me to be tired of receiving all these emails again and to click that big red unsubscribe button. So the email address, if you look, is nonsense. And they also, the message is addressed to Dear, not a name. Again, good indication that they have no idea who I am. They pulled my email address out of a hat and we're just sending random people this email address in an attempt to get you to click that big red button, maybe you download a virus, etc. Great. So this example is sort of an I Spy game. I took this from the very bottom. Okay, as I'm reading this, I'm reading my notes off my phone. I got a spam call. Okay, so this example is an I Spy game. I took this from the very bottom of an email that we'll look at later. So this little disclaimer, it outs the email as spam, right? They take a second at the very bottom of the email to clarify that their email is actually in no way affiliated with Costco, which throws themselves under the bus. You know, they're telling you that, I mean, they're telling you off the bat that this is scam. This is a scam. Okay. So other emails you may get that are also unwanted are email blasts, but they're not trying to harm you. So these examples are from businesses who are advertising to the receiver, but are not necessarily trying to coerce the receiver into giving over information. Also, I know these companies that sent these emails, and I know that I signed up for them. I know that I gave them my information, which is something that you can take and apply to your own email inbox. Great. So right off the bat, this email is low pressure, right? They're advertising their flight company, they're offering a booking option and other ways to stay connected, but it's not now. You know, they're not trying to get me to click on anything necessarily. There's an orange book now button, but this is very low pressure. Their email address, if you look up at the top, is from JetBlue. It's JetBlue Airways at email.jetblue.com. Their logo is all over this. So this is a pretty safe email. Great. This one could be a little bit misleading. So while it is important to be wary of entering your email address into these prize contests, because that's where it can get sold into scams and spam email accounts, companies, this email itself is simply advertising their service. So they do address the recipient by their name, and while they advertise prize, quote unquote, opportunities, it's not highly aggressive. If you peek at the email address at the top, it is straightforward. It's just contact@prizegrab.com. Additionally, their company's name is all over this email. That's totally normal marketing strategy. Great. Example number 3. This one again is an advertisement for the company's services. So the subject line is simple. The company's name is advertised, and overall, it's clear that they've put an effort into the branded look of this message. The email address is also really straightforward. If you look up at the top, it's from Emily Smith, emily@uptick.com. So no random symbols, no random assortment of numbers and letters. Great. So to help our skills, hone in our skills here, we'll look at 10 different examples. I'll let you look at them for a little bit, and then we'll go through step by step what is or is not safe about this email. So There will be spam emails and also not spam emails in these examples. Great. Okay, go ahead and take a look at this one. Great. Okay, so this one is spam. So for starters, the email address at the top is Sarah at a total random jumble of letters. Second, the email uses very charged words. Oop, there we go, spam, sorry. There's her random assortment of email or letters and her email address. Great. It has very charged words like threats, harmful, etc. We are also in a pandemic right now, so this leaves us in kind of a vulnerable situation, more apt to respond to these kinds of things. Great. Threats, we've got harmful pollutants, harmful airborne threats. Great. So something else about this email, there is no company name on this email. So who's trying to sell you all this protective gear? It's not Amazon, it's not some health organization. The email name is Family Prepping Association, but I don't know who that is. They don't have a logo anywhere in their email. So companies want to show you their logo and their company name as much as possible. That's a basic to marketing, right? They want to just inundate you with their image. Great. So second example, go ahead and take a look at this one. Awesome. Okay, this email is just fine. This is just an advertisement. If you look at the top, it's from U.S. Service Animals. And their email address reflects that. It's just support@usserviceanimals.org. Let's see. I apologize. The bottom is a little cut off, but the organization's name is listed again at the bottom underneath where it says sincerely. But this message, it's addressed to the recipient's name, and the email is very low pressure. They take a minute to kind of, just have a casual little conversation at the start, and then they tell you about the 33% off sale that they're having. There's no absolutely right now, all caps pressure. Great, this one's fine. I apologize, forgot to click through it. Great, okay, so example 3. Take a minute to look over this one. Okay, so this email is spam, and it's pretty dangerous spam at that. Many people fall for the personal touch in this message. So first off, they address me as dear friend. They don't know my name. They have a huge multi-million-dollar business proposal for me, which is awesome, and it makes me want to respond absolutely right now, right? They do start their email as well. If you read that first little blurb, they ask personal questions about my family, claim that we've corresponded before. They're trying to win some trust. But again, they probably would have addressed me by my name if they did know my family and if we had corresponded before. Okay. So the other thing to keep in mind with our multi-million-dollar business proposal here, how do we accept that money from them? We would have to send them our bank account information in order to complete that transaction. Great. So the final note on this email is that sometimes in spam emails sent internationally, the individual will address themselves and their constituents as Mr. and Mrs. to kind of give an air of respect, just again to try to win your trust. Great. Example number 4. Okay, so hopefully this one was pretty obvious that it is spam. There's a lot going on in this email. So the email address again at the top is from new reply at a bunch of confusing email. It's a confusing email domain. It includes symbols. It's giving me a second chance. The notification is urgent, as you can see right here. It's telling me it's very urgent. You need to be exonerated from your debts. Those are some pretty strong words. So, I mean, most Americans have debt. This email can seem pretty appealing. If only you hurry up and eliminate your debts now. Of course, now we need your confirmation absolutely right now from the IRS. So, I mean, this can appeal to people in vulnerable situations. Of course, we all want to eliminate our debts. If the IRS is on your tail, this is a pretty alarming email. Okay. Example number 5. Take a minute to look at it. Okay, this email is definitely spam. The email address at the top, it's a little confusing. I'm not really sure who it's from. There's a lot of, there's km.mr, thanked participation. There's a lot going on up there with that email address. It's not straightforward like we'd see from a legitimate company. Just looking at this too, the aesthetic effort is pretty minimal in this email. They also at the bottom, like I just circled, they claim to be from Lowe's, but the little disclaimer at the bottom does tell us that they have nothing to do with the merchants listed above, which again is a pretty good indication that the email is junk or spam. Great. So a note too about emails like this, it's best not to click anything in the email. If they offer you a big unsubscribe button at the, somewhere in there, it is best to go within your email, within your Gmail, your Yahoo, wherever you are, and move it to your junk folder to eliminate receiving emails like this in the future. Great. Email number 6. Okay, this email is not spam. The email address at the top, this is really straightforward, and we see their logo right at the top. They're very explicitly clear about who they are and where this email is coming from. The message content is also not high pressure. This is just a newsletter. It's talking about relevant things like Zoom calls. We're in a Zoom call right now. It's very relevant. It's very low pressure. Fantastic. Okay, number 7. Okay, this one is spam. Again, red flag, this email targets people in vulnerable situations with food insecurity. This is about the pandemic. This is about food stamps, getting groceries. We're all worried about getting too much or not enough toilet paper right now, or milk and eggs. This is a pretty vulnerable, I mean, we're all vulnerable right now. This is a little bit low of a targeted audience. The email address circled at the top is a series of nonsensical numbers and letters. Again, they get things, hot topics like coronavirus outbreak, and differently colored letters to get your blood pumping, grab your attention. In this message too, it really empathizes with people in this vulnerable situation by stating how hard it is for those maybe laid off in the pandemic to get groceries right now. One other thing to keep in mind is, who is this email from? Again, there's no organization listed, there's no logo, nothing. They're not advertising that they're with the government, and furthermore, the government's not gonna be advertising food stamps. If you need that, I think it'll be pretty easy to seek out without getting an email. Great. Email number 8. Hopefully this one's getting a little bit easier. Cool. All right, this is spam. There are so many emojis in the subject line, and the email is new reply again, NOO reply at a non-understandable domain. These should all be pretty good tips that it's spam. This is very exciting too. You've got excitement, your congratulations, you've won, you've got a surprise waiting for you. Also, the email is addressed to friend, not my name. And in case, again, you didn't notice, we won. Our surprise is waiting for us. High pressure. Go ahead and give us your bank account information and claim your prize. And at the bottom, just a bonus, the word click is misspelled. Great. So example number 9. All right, this one is not spam. This email is really straightforward. The name is the company. It's Del Taco at eclub@deltaco.com. Very straightforward. Plus, who doesn't love free taco delivery? I mean, the email has the company's name all over it and is just advertising their deals. So in case you weren't sure, you could cross-reference also the email with the Del Taco app, which I did. We really like tacos in our house. And it was the exact same information and image both in this email as the app on my phone, which makes it legitimate. So good news, this is just an advertisement, and also good news, tacos are on sale and can be delivered to you for free. So example number 10, last one. Cool. All right, this one is spam. This is the one that we took the bottom from before to look at. So this email is complete nonsense again. Also, don't know if you noticed, but Costco's logo is nowhere to be found in here. Again, companies who have something to advertise want to hit you in the face with their branding. They're not going to miss that opportunity with an email message. They're not going to leave out their logo. Fantastic. All right. So next we'll do Q&A. Let me figure this out quick. Okay. Okay. So one of the questions that we have, someone plays the game Wordscapes on their phone and they make you watch advertisements. Are those spam? That's a good question. So with those, they make you a captive audience. They can feel unwanted, but you did opt to play the game. Usually they're advertising other games online. Great. Okay. We do also, on our website, we've got a place to ask questions. So if you go to the Arapahoe Library's website, we do have online chat options. We're available Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So great. Were there any other questions? All right. So we're at 229. So again, I do have a handout that goes with this, and we will be sending that along. Let's see. Oh, okay. Oh, good. So someone entered a question that says, you mentioned putting a spam email in a junk folder. Is that so the system will check for items to ignore? It does. So if you have an email in your inbox that you do not want to receive anymore, you can mark it as spam. Sometimes it's in a little stop sign looking symbol with an exclamation mark, and those will send it to your junk folder. Otherwise, you can click move to and send it to your junk folder. And then what your email will learn is to start sending emails similar to that to your junk folder automatically, so you don't have to look at them. It's not a risk for you anymore. Great. We'd also received an email from someone ahead of time with a question about them receiving emails from Apple and PayPal saying that their accounts were blocked or something. Again, best with those is to go to the account itself. So don't click on anything in the email, but it's best to go directly to your Apple account and make sure that everything's working okay. Go to PayPal directly. Don't click on anything in this email. And if your accounts are working okay, then you can see, okay, this email was probably spam, and you can send it to your junk folder, and you won't receive emails like that anymore. Great. We have a question about phishing. Great. So with phishing and with viruses you may get from your email, in the past, we've all made mistakes, right? We've all clicked on an email that you shouldn't have, and junk opens, or You get an advertisement on your phone all of a sudden that you don't want to be receiving. The best way to eliminate those kind of abrasive advertisements or abrasive viruses on your devices is to download anti-malware. So in the case of the tech specialists, usually we recommend Malwarebytes or Norton 360. So those are free services that you can download onto your devices, and they will sweep your phone, sweep your computers to eliminate those threats to your device. Great. All right, so we're a little bit over time. Thank all of you for tuning in. I think we will be sharing this, and we do have a handout again that we'll be sending out. So thank you.